So back up to the start to see the heat of the Wyfold Challenge Cup for Club Coxley's Fours between Dresdner Ruderverein on the left of your picture and Mercantile Rowing Club from Australia, the Victorian club, on the right, just next to the island. Interesting steering by the Germans, being warned straight away by the umpire. The temptation is, Pasky, to come away from any obstructions on the side of the course like the buoys or the booms and try and seek some shelter in the middle, but you know, if you're up against the other crew, then that's not going to be the easiest of things.
God, it's a challenge, isn't it? Because you go over one way and then all of a sudden you then kind of recorrect and you end up going too far the other way, and you can end up doing a bit of a zigzag all the way down. It's a shame it's not a part of the race to slalom down the course, but that sometimes can happen. Yeah. Both crews looking a bit more stable now, hopefully with the steering, and actually quite a good level race early on here.
So Gus Maloney in the stroke seat on the left of your picture, the far left. The 22-year-old was in the final last year up against the Multi crew that won, and his crewmate Jack Kelly in the two seats. That's one from the extreme right of the Melbourne four. He also was in that four. So, you know, they've been to the final, they've got experience, they've taken on Carl Tomczak, the 24-year-old, and James Hoban, 23-year-old. Let's see what the positions were when we go live. Back live again, and Dresdner Ruderverein struggling to keep pace with this very strong Mercantile crew, Adam. Well, now, nice easy rhythm from the Victorians. And if you're watching this in Australia, welcome to Henley Rowing Club's transmission, or indeed if you're watching it from anywhere in the world, maybe just in the bars at Henley, or maybe over in Germany, in Dresden, that beautiful city in Saxony. We say welcome to you. Very excited to be at Henley on Friday. And Mercantile look to have done the job in the first part of the course anyway.
I'm always amazed by the variety of clubs we have racing at Henley, and actually it's great to see Dresden returning to Henley, having previously raced in 2016 and 2015, but back here in 2019. Great to see racing against this strong Australian crew.
Yeah, it's a nice crew. Of course, Mercantile Rowing Club, the home of so many great Australian fours oarsmen. You know, Jimmy Tompkins, Drew Ginn. See Peter Anthony here, the Australian lightweight who won the men's double sculls in the 1992 Olympics with Stephen Hawkins. He's here coaching. And Merck's is such a great club there on the Yarra in the centre of Melbourne. You know, anyone who's anyone in Australian rowing pretty much has been through or rowed with somebody from Mercantile Rowing Club.
And Melbourne's such a sporty city as well, isn't it? It goes crazy. Any sporting events are always packed out, so it's like sports central in Melbourne. And actually, you would expect rowing would be none other than a real sort of jewel in the crown in terms of where sporting talent comes from. Absolutely.
We're looking at Albrecht Dunkel, the 29-year-old, who is a stroke of the Dresdner crew, backed up behind him by Franz Dieringer, 26 years of age, experienced in the University Championships, European University Championships. But Melbourne have really turned it on today. They were 3:20 to the Fawley, the halfway mark. Yesterday they were 3:22, which was a pretty similar time to the Dresdner crew. So we're seeing more from these crews in the first half of the race, I think, Adam. In this, as the regatta progresses, they have to do more early on in the race.
Yeah, it's always one of those things as well. When you're eyeing up your competitors, you do always look at those early marker times. So you always try and gauge yourself against a barrier time, and you tend to sort of get a sense that that's where everyone has raced to, don't you? And then you try and sort of hypothesise as to how your race might pan out. But this is panning out very well for the Mercantile crew here. As we look down on the back there of their bowman, Carl Tomczak, looking nice, having a good view down the course. Looking at their spectators and coaches, getting a few pictures done from the umpire's launch there, and rowing their way, hopefully, into the next round if they can maintain this healthy lead.
Well, I think they're going to face, was it Oslo who beat Thames in the previous heat this morning? So I think they're going to race that fast Oslo crew, and they are pretty decent, those lads from Oslo. So that's going to be a hell of a match-up, should it turn out to be that way on the Saturday.
It's amazing, isn't it? Club level fours, or what we call a club event, and you've got German crews, Australian, Norwegian, British. You know, there's a whole mix of nationalities in there. It's
definitely more than it used to be. It's something that I raced this event back in 1976, and the Americans came over from Potomac and the South Africans from Trident. So it was multinational then, but I think there are even more teams as we come up towards the finish. The crew from Mercantile Rowing Club Australia in the heat of the Wyfold Challenge Cup. They've done and dusted their opponents. They crossed the finish line with a comfortable victory over the men from Dresdner Ruderverein from Germany, and it was a really, really easy, comfortable win for the Australians. There's confirmation of that result.